So I'm just chilling in the doc's waiting room, right? Bored out of my skull, flipping through some ancient magazine. Then my cell blows up. It's my one and only daughter, Jessica. My kid. Her voice was off, totally cold, like I was a telemarketer. Mom, listen up. We're bouncing to Europe tomorrow. Oh, and I sold the beach crib in your car. We needed the cash. Bye. Just like that. 45 years. Changing diapers, driving to soccer, sacrificing my whole life for her, and she tosses me out with the trash. But I took a deep breath and a slow smile spread across my face. See, there was a little something my dear daughter didn't have a clue about. The name's Beverly. Bev for short. I'm 71 years young. And up until that very second, I thought I knew my kid. My husband, Hank, had passed 6 months back. A massive heart attack right at the breakfast table, just like every other morning for 45 years. That last morning, he'd poured my coffee, cream, no sugar, and slid the toast my way. Like always, he kissed my forehead and said, "Mornin', beautiful." Those were his last words. After that, Jessica was suddenly all up in my business. Or so I thought. She'd swing by 3 times a week, helping with the funeral stuff, tagging along to the grocery store. She was the one who insisted I see a doctor for a checkup. "Mom, you gotta take care of yourself now that you're flying solo," she'd say with this smile I mistook for love. Now I get it, it was all about convenience. The beach house? That was our sanctuary. Hank and I scraped every penny together to buy it when Jess was in high school. Every summer we were out there. Birthdays, Christmases, you name it. Jessica brought her flavor of the week boyfriends and later, her husband, Chad. I'd cook, clean, do laundry for everyone. It was our thing. I never dreamed she'd see it as just a pile of cash. And the car? That old Ford pickup Hank babied like it was his firstborn. Washed it every Sunday, changed the oil religiously. Jessica knew what that truck meant to me. It was the last piece of him I had left. I could still smell his aftershave on the seats. After she hung up, I just sat there on that awful plastic chair, surrounded by sick people. And for the first time in months I didn't cry. Something flipped inside me. A weird calm like I hadn't felt since Hank was alive. Because right then I remembered something I'd totally forgotten. 3 days before he died, Hank handed me a manila envelope. "Bev, stash this in your dresser. If anything goes sideways with me, open it down the road. But only when you're ready." I tossed it in a drawer and with all the grief and chaos after the funeral, completely blanked on it. But it was there waiting for me at home. The nurse called my name. The doc gave me the once-over, said I was in great shape for my age, just to take it easy and eat my veggies. I nodded and smiled, but my brain was elsewhere. I was thinking about that envelope, the ice in Jessica's voice, and how her deadbeat husband Chad was probably the mastermind. He'd never liked me. Always thought I was a burden. I left the office and walked to the bus stop. According to my darling daughter, I didn't have wheels anymore. But as I stood there waiting, I couldn't help but smirk. There was something seriously poetic about this whole mess. My kid thought she'd left me with nothing. But what she didn't know was that my Hank, God rest his soul, was always 10 steps ahead. When I got home, I went straight to my bedroom. I yanked open the dresser drawer and there it was. My hand shook a little as I pulled it out. I could feel a stack of papers inside. Hank had written my name on the front in his perfect penmanship. I sat on the bed we'd shared for a lifetime and took a deep breath. It was getting dark, and the house was filling with those long shadows that didn't scare me anymore. I opened the envelope slow like it was a birthday present. And what I found inside, it knocked the wind right out of me. There were legal papers, deeds, bank statements, and a letter from Hank in his own handwriting. Asterisk, my dearest Bev, if you're reading this, I'm gone. Sorry I didn't tell you everything, but I didn't want you stressing. Over the years, I invested our savings. We don't just have the beach house, baby. We own 6 other properties, including the apartment building where Jessica and Chad live. We've got shares in 3 companies that are worth more than you can imagine. You're loaded, my love. You always were, but now it's on paper. Asterisk. My hands were trembling as I flipped through the documents. Deeds to houses in different neighborhoods, a downtown condo, a motel on the coast, and sure enough, the 20-story building where my daughter lived. Hank had been the silent owner for a decade, but put it all under a company I'd never heard of. And according to the paperwork, I was the sole owner of that company. The bank statements showed accounts I never knew existed, with balances that had so many zeros I thought it was a misprint. Hank drove a bus for 40 years, but turns out he was also a freaking Wall Street wizard in his spare time. Every cent we'd ever saved, he'd multiplied in secret. In the letter, he explained why he kept it quiet. Asterisk, you know our girl, Bev. If she knew we had this kind of dough, her whole attitude would change. I wanted her to love us for us, not for our bank account. Asterisk. The irony was so thick you could cut it with a knife. Our daughter had ditched us thinking we were broke, when in reality, we were sitting on a gold mine. That night I couldn't sleep. I paced around the house, touching all the old furniture and knickknacks Jessica always said were so last century. I looked at the family photos, especially one of her when she was 5, sitting on Hank's lap, laughing her head off. Where did that little girl go? When did she turn into this cold, calculating stranger? The next morning, bright and early, the phone rang. Jessica again. Her voice was different now, softer, but I'd already learned my lesson about her mood swings. Mom? How are you? Just wanted to let you know we transferred the money from the house and the car. We deposited your cut into your account. It's not a ton, but it'll keep you afloat for a few months while you find a smaller place. Asterisk, my cut. Asterisk, I asked, keeping my voice level. Yeah, Mom. We weren't gonna leave you high and dry. We gave you 30%. That's fair, right? We need the money for our business venture in Europe. Chad has a killer opportunity over there. 30% of my own stuff. How freaking generous. I see. And when do you take off? This afternoon. Our bags are packed. We'll be gone for at least 6 months. Maybe longer if the business takes off. But don't worry, Mom, when we get back, we'll help you find a little apartment. Something that, fits your needs. Fits my needs. As if she had the first clue what I needed. Okay, Jessica. Have a safe trip. Oh, Mom. I knew you'd understand. You've always been so sweet. We love you so much. I stood there with the phone in my hand, and for the first time in months I laughed. I laughed until I cried. The whole thing was so messed up it was hilarious. My own kid had robbed me blind, kicked me to the curb, and talked to me like I was a senile old lady, all to fund some European fantasy that was probably gonna crash and burn. But the money wasn't the part that really got me. It was how easily she'd thrown me away. 45 years of my life, and she'd erased me with a 2-minute phone call. That was the knife twist. I checked my bank account online. Sure enough, they'd deposited an amount that probably seemed like a king's ransom to them, but to me was just a slap in the face. They'd sold the beach house for way under value, probably a quick, cash-only deal, and sold Hank's truck for peanuts. That afternoon, I watched from my window as Jessica and Chad loaded their designer luggage into a taxi. He was hauling 2 giant suitcases. She had one of those fancy carry-ons. I watched them laugh and kiss, all excited for their big adventure. They never even looked my way, never waved goodbye. When the cab pulled away, I sat at the kitchen table with a cup of tea and Hank's documents spread out everywhere. I had to make a move. I could call a lawyer, take back my stuff, and sue their pants off. But something told me there was a better way to handle this. A way that would really drive the point home. I called Mr. Henderson, the lawyer who handled Hank's affairs. He'd been at the funeral, given me his card, told me to call if I needed anything. Well, now I needed everything. Mrs. Delaney, good to hear from you. How are you holding up? I'm doing all right, Mr. Henderson. I need to see you ASAP. I found some papers of Hank's that I can't quite figure out. Of course. Come by my office tomorrow morning. I'll be there. That night, for the first time in months, I slept like a rock. I dreamed of Hank. He was in his favorite armchair, reading the paper just like always. He looked over at me, smiled, and said, "About time you started playing hardball, beautiful." I woke up with this feeling I hadn't had in forever. It wasn't quite happiness. It was straight-up determination. For the first time since Hank died, I had a mission. I was gonna get back what was mine, but not in any way Jessica would see coming. This is getting long. Want me to keep going with the rest of the story in this new American style? The next morning, I got dressed with purpose. I put on my favorite maroon dress, the one Hank always said made me look like $1,000,000. Did my hair, put on a little lipstick. When I looked in the mirror, I saw a woman I hadn't seen in a long time. I saw a woman who was done taking crap. Mr. Henderson's office was downtown in one of those old, fancy buildings with brass elevators. He greeted me with a warm smile, but when I slid Hank's documents across his desk, his eyes just about popped out of his head. Mrs. Delaney. This is a lot more than I ever imagined. Hank was a very shrewd man. I know, Mr. Henderson. I've looked it over. What I need to know is what I can do legally. He explained it was all legit. The documents were ironclad, and I was the rightful owner of everything. Then he confirmed what I'd already guessed. The sale of the beach house was illegal. Jessica had no right to sell it. We can get it back immediately, and we can also press charges against your daughter for fraud. No, Mr. Henderson, I said, cool as a cucumber. I don't want to press charges. I want to do this another way. I want this all kept under wraps for now. Can you help me? He looked curious but nodded. Of course. You're the client. What do you need? I need you to quietly get my beach house back. Do whatever legal voodoo you gotta do to void that sale. And I need you to help me get real control of all my properties, especially the building where my daughter lives. I understand. It'll take a few weeks, but it's completely doable. Perfect. And Mr. Henderson? Nobody can know I'm behind this. Not yet. When I walked out of his office, I felt like I'd woken up from a long nap. I strolled through downtown, watching all the people scurrying around with their own problems. But for me, everything had changed. I had a plan. The next few weeks were the weirdest of my life. On the surface, I was just Bev, the poor widow who got a raw deal from her rotten kid. But secretly, I was a boss lady quietly taking back her empire. Mr. Henderson was a machine. He'd call every few days with an update. The beach house is yours again, Mrs. Delaney. The buyers were refunded. Excellent. And the apartment building. A few more administrative hoops to jump through. Give it 2 weeks. I decided to stay put in my house. It was mine after all, even if Jessica probably had me pegged for a retirement home already. My neighbor Sharon, the neighborhood gossip, came over one day while I was watering the petunias. Bev, honey, is it true? Jessica ran off to Europe and left you all by your lonesome. Yep, Sharon. She and Chad had business over there. And how are you gonna manage, sweetie? We all know Hank didn't leave a fortune. If only you knew, I thought. Don't you worry about me, Sharon. I'll be just fine. You need anything? I can bring over a casserole. You're a doll, but I'm good. Really? She gave me that look. All pity and a little relief it wasn't her tragedy. I just smiled and played my part. Then Mr. Henderson called with the best news yet. Mrs. Delaney, it's all done. You have total control. And I got Hank's truck back too. The guy who bought it is a friend of a friend. When I explained the situation, he was happy to return it for a small fee. You're a wizard, Mr. Henderson. Now one more thing. I need you to send a letter to my daughter. What kind of letter? An eviction notice. There was a long silence on the other end of the line. Mrs. Delaney, are you sure? Absolutely sure, I said, my voice steady. She decided I wasn't part of her life. Now she's gonna find out just how big a part one really play. I didn't have to wait long. The very next day, Sharon came power walking over, bursting with news. Bev, your Jessica is back. I saw her get out of a cab last night with just one suitcase. She looked terrible. And get this, she didn't even have her keys. The super had to let her in. Interesting. So Chad had the keys. He wasn't coming back. Right on schedule, Mr. Henderson called. The letter was delivered an hour ago. Perfect. I didn't sleep a wink that night, imagining Jessica's face when she opened that official-looking envelope. The confusion, the panic. She'd probably think it was a mistake. But when she called to check, she'd get the shock of her life. The phone rang at 8 a.m. sharp the next morning. It was Jessica, and she sounded like she was hyperventilating. Mom, you are not gonna believe this. I got this insane letter. An eviction notice. For my apartment. This has to be a mistake, right? Do you know anything about this? An eviction? Honey, that's awful. From who? From some company I've never heard of. Hank's Holdings Incorporated? Does that ring a bell? Hank, you clever devil, I thought. Using his own name. No, sweetie. I've never heard of them. Are you sure it's real? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Mom, I need your help. I don't know what to do. Edward bailed on me in Europe. He ran off with some Waitress. And now I come back to this. There it was. The deadbeat had ditched her. Just like I knew he would. I'm so sorry, honey. That's terrible. Where are you now? I'm at the apartment, but I don't know for how long. Mom, can I come over? I have no one else. The irony was so thick you could taste it. Now that her meal ticket had vanished, she remembered dear old Mom. Of course, honey. Come on over. An hour later, she was at my door. She looked like hell, had lost weight, her eyes were puffy. For a second I thought she might hug me, but she just stood there awkward. Come in, honey. I'll make coffee. We sat at the kitchen table. She looked so small. Mom, I'm so sorry for how I left. I know I was a jerk. It's in the past, Jessica. For now. No, it's not. I was horrible. And now. Her voice cracked. Now I have nothing. She spilled the whole sob story. Chad had lied about everything. The business was fake. He'd racked up over 100 grand in debt, some of it in her name without her knowing. Then he vanished. Mom, the banks are coming after me. And on top of that, this eviction. I don't have a job, I don't have any money. I don't have anywhere to go. She started crying for real. And for a split second my mom's heart twitched. I wanted to make it all better. But then I remembered that cold 2-minute phone call. Did you talk to a lawyer about the letter? I can't afford a lawyer, Mom. We blew through all the money in Europe. Chad took what was left. So, what are you going to do? She looked down at her hands. I thought, maybe I could stay with you, just for a little while, until I can get back on my feet. There it was. The question. After everything, she wanted me to rescue her. Of course, honey. This will always be your home. She looked up, shocked it was that easy. Really, Mom? After everything? You're my daughter, Jessica. That doesn't change. She finally broke down and hugged me. It was a desperate, clingy hug. I hugged her back, but it was different now. There was strategy in that hug. This was all part of the plan. Having her move back in was phase 2. Let her get comfortable. Let her think she'd found her safe space. And then, when she was least expecting it, lesson time. That night, after she went to bed, I called Mr. Henderson. Mr. Henderson, I need one more thing. I want you to dig into Chad's debts. I want to know every dime he owes, and how I can legally separate my daughter from that mess. I can do that. May I ask, what's the endgame here, Mrs. Delaney? My plan, Mr. Henderson, is simple, I said, pouring myself a glass of Hank's Good bourbon. I'm gonna save my daughter. But first, I'm gonna make sure she knows what rock bottom really feels like.